My name's Cicely. I grew up in North London with my mum and my sister. I suppose my whole foundation and belief from God came from my mum. She was really, really devout Christian, and she would always talk about the goodness of God and how God was good. And every single time her thing was, God is good, and all the time, God is good. That was like one of her favorite sayings. And so I suppose for my sister and I, it became a big part of us that God is good, that maybe sometimes situations around you are not good, but God is always good in every single situation. The first kind of real sense that I knew for myself that God was good was when I left home, and I decided I wanted to travel the world, and I wanted to see the goodness of God in all the countries, because I just have this thing of, the world is there and it's there for us. God made it for us, so therefore we should, enjoy it and explore it and learn so much more about God's goodness by going around the world and meeting different people. So I decided that I wanted to travel. And so I used to write down my list of countries and pray about it. And I never had any money. It's not that I had the money, but I just knew that if it was what God wanted me to do, then He would provide for me. He would make sure that I had what I needed in order to go. Our church had projects in Kenya and Sri Lanka. And I said to God, God, I really want to go to these places, and I want to go and I want to learn and give what I can give, but also to learn from the people too, and so Kenya was one of the places that I ended up going to and loved it. Used to have an amazing time taking out young people. I met my husband in Kenya through going out and doing all the mission stuff with church. And just before we were due to get married, in December 2007, there was post-election violence in Kenya. And it was a really horrific time for Kenya, it just looked horrible on the news. And my friend and I were due to go out there and work in the project out there. And we'd booked our flights, we'd sorted everything. We were bags packed, ready to go. And then, this happened. And then you got the call from the travel agents, right, you can't go. All flights are suspended until we don't know when. And I was like, what, God, this is not supposed to happen at this time. God, I need you to show up in this situation, because we were due to get married in April. And I was like, what am I going to do? And, friends were like, how is it out there, Cicely? Do you know what's going on? Do you know what's happening? And I was keeping in contact with my fiance and just the people that I knew, and just, making sure that the people that I knew and loved were all right. And again, their thing was God is good. He's kept us. We've managed, we've got money, we're able to get food, we're safe, we've got someplace safe to be. And you're just like, wow, this is incredible that even in this situation, people are still talking about the fact that God is good, because He's kept them alive, because He's kept them away from harm, and their family members were safe. So in the end, we ended up going out in March, beginning of March. And and it was just amazing to be out there at that time and see the devastation and see how man can be, I don't know, just sometimes we do things and we don't think about what we're doing. But the fact that God can still show up in those situations and turn it around for His glory, do you know what I mean? And to show that, I am a good God, and I can, be in this no matter what's going on, and obviously, we did get married, and it was a good time, and again, we didn't have money to make that happen. And in fact, whilst Joe was out there, money that he had been trying to save, because of the time and because of how things were, life was really expensive and really hard. So, what little he had tried to save had to be used, obviously, to sustain himself and his family, as in mum and people like that, and because it was a time when family obviously had to really come together, because you kind of didn't know what was going to happen tomorrow. It was a really, really difficult time. And and again, for our wedding, God was good. God provided for everything. There wasn't anything that we had to do. And my church came together. People were like, don't worry about it, Cicely. We've got it all in hand. You just go tell us what you need and we'll sort it out. And I was like, this is just amazing. Do you know what I mean? God just came through in a way that I didn't expect, in a way that I couldn't foresee. Do you know what I mean? But only the goodness of God could do that. Do you know what I mean? Only knowing Him and living in Him and being in His reality could do that. That reality that God is so good in every situation. The situation you're living in or you're in at that moment may not be good, But when God shows up, man, he's amazing and his goodness is so great.